Let me ask you a question, and I want you to actually sit with it for a moment. Who have you disqualified in your mind? Not out loud, not publicly, but quietly in your mind. Who have you looked at and thought to yourself, God can forgive this person, or I don't think God should use this person? Think about it. So I recently saw a post, and it was quite funny. I saw a post where someone from a church was talking about total decay and that God cannot forgive her and that she should not be given the opportunity to serve. And I'll share that post at the end of this episode. And honestly, that statement says a lot more about us than it is about her. The truth is, many people in religious spaces are not ready for this conversation. We are not ready for it. And it's deeply ironic because the very people who need God's mercy, who are living by the mercy of God, are the very ones that think that other people don't deserve it. Why? Because we've convinced ourselves that some sins are worse than others. You see, we've created categories of sin, categories rooted in our self-perceived holiness. And from that place, we mock, we judge, we condemn, we ostracize people we've decided belong to the unacceptable group. And if we're being honest, it's almost laughable, really. It's almost laughable because it could have been you. It could be your child tomorrow. You know, we don't get to determine what life throws at us or the situations we find ourselves in. None of us came into this world with the how to live correctly manual. Nobody. Until someone truly encounters Christ. Everyone is doing life as they know how, making decisions based on survival, based on trauma, based on exposure and circumstances. Some decisions turn out well, some don't. But either way, we are learning as we go. Growth is expected. Change is part of the journey. When I think about this, I'm reminded of the story of Paul of Tarsus. Yes, Paul, the one whose letters we read in church, the one who we quote in sermons, the one who wrote the epistles in the Bible, the one we hold up as a model believer. That same Paul, that Paul at some point made it his life mission to execute Christians. It was his life purpose. Men, women, children. It didn't matter where he saw them, whether it was in their homes, whether it was on the road, whether it was in church gatherings, or okay, at the time there was no church, but yeah, fellowships, in homes, wherever they gathered. He made it his life purpose to execute them, to kill them. Yet, he had an encounter with God. And because of that encounter, he became one of the greatest carriers of the gospel all around the world. The greatest carrier of the gospel ever known. He planted churches, he made disciples, he risked his life repeatedly. He stayed faithful. Even when death stared at his face, he was unrelentless. So now imagine Paul living in our generation. Imagine the blog posts. Imagine the comment section. The whispered conversations in church pews. Some of us would have disqualified him. The majority of us, particularly Christians, would have disqualified him. Matter of fact, we would have been rooting for his demise, all in the name of justice. Justice for the women, justice for the children. Before God even finished with him, we would have finished him. Yeah, I don't even think he would have survived it. And that's why we must remember this, that God's ways are not our ways. His thoughts are not like ours. God's justice system is different from what we call justice. When God decides it's time for a person to fulfill his purpose, it doesn't matter where they've been, what they've done, what label society has placed on them, what agenda they have once pursued. If it has been written concerning that person, it will come to pass. If God has said, I am going to use this person, no matter where the person has been, and what they've done, see, God will still use them. And there's nothing any one of us can do about it. No opinion can stop it. No accusation can cancel it. Not even the person themselves can stand in the way of God's purpose. Facts. You may judge someone today. based on where they are, but it has not yet appeared who they shall become. That's the beautiful thing about God. The goal of every believer is simple: to become more like Christ. So when someone turns from darkness to light, from brokenness to God, our response should not be suspicion. It should be celebration. If heaven rejoices over one soul that repents, why then are we bitter? We cannot claim citizenship in God's kingdom when his fruits, love, compassion, mercy cannot be found in us. How about now? What are we not claiming to be? Because being a Christian means that, well, you're Christ-like. So how is that representing Christ? So let's be kinder. Let's be more compassionate. Let's reflect Christ better. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how much you do for God. If you look nothing like him, you can't claim to be him or his. A good tree does not bear bad fruits. I want to invite you into a moment of honesty, not judgment, just reflection. Think about the people you've written off, the ones you decided too far gone, the stories you've reduced to a single chapter of their lives, and ask yourself, genuinely ask yourself, if God treated you the way you treat them, where would you be? This week, choose compassion over commentary. Choose grace over gossip. And when you see God at work in someone else's life, even if it makes you uncomfortable, pause and let heaven lead your response. If this message stirred something in you, sit with it. Share it with someone who needs the reminder that grace still works. And most importantly, let it shape how you see people. Because mercy isn't messy if it only applies to people we approve of. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time, my name is Nicole.